So this past Saturday, the eve before my birthday, Game Changer Wrestling held the first night of the two-night event, Homecoming. And on this first night, one of the biggest shockers, I guess you could say, in wrestling today occurred, mostly in deathmatch wrestling occurred, when Matt Cardona, formerly Zack Ryder, beat Nick effin' Gage, for the GCW Championship. Now, this match was a death match. There's hardcore, no rules, you get the idea. So, anything could happen. And what happened was Nick Gage looked like he was on the verge of beating Matt, aka Zack, if you will, and retaining his championship, until Ricky Page, I think Ricky Shane Page, I think that's his name, came in, made it look like he was siding with him, but then turned on him and allowed Cardona, Ryder, if you will, to hit Gage with a light tube, hit the radio silencer, or formerly the Rough Rider, to win and become champion. And the reaction that this got was nuclear. This was just nuclear reaction by fans that were in attendance, fans that were watching on Fight.tv. They just were not thrilled with this. And everybody wants to probably know why fans were so upset, at the Showboat in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where this happened. As well as those online, commenting and basically bashing the decision to put, Matt over as the champion. Everybody wants to know what the big issue was. Even Dave Meltzer, whether you like the guy or you don't, didn't like how fans reacted. And here's why this all happened from a fan's perspective. I'm a fan myself of wrestling. Here's why I believe this happened. You see, it goes all the way back to even the ECW days, which a lot of people look at GCW as being a modern day version of ECW, but with a little BJW, CZW influence. However, like I said, this goes back to the ECW days, and when you have a certain audience, niche audience, if you will, that is expanding the way it is, and this audience are followers of some of your guys, mostly your champion, Nick Gage, who's known for his MDK deal, which everybody, says they're a part of and wears t-shirts saying MDK on it. When you have him lose to someone like Zack Ryder, they find that to be blasphemy. They find that to be, sacrilegious, blasphemy, and they are not going to stop letting you know about it until you as the promoter, as the matchmaker, as the booker, basically fix the situation. That's how they look at it, which is why the fans reacted the way they did, because they don't see Matt Cardona as Matt Cardona or as part of the major wrestling podcast of the Broskis or whatever. They don't see him as a guy that's trying to make his own path, on the indie circuit, in places like GCW, in places like Impact Wrestling, MLW, you name it, and wanting to have that freedom that a lot of wrestlers that have worked for WWE have longed for once they finally get it. They don't see that. What they see is WWE Superstar Zack Ryder winning their title and basically what's the word I'm looking for? Disgracing it, basically pissing on it, if you will. And that's why they acted the way they do, because they don't see a guy that's trying to forge his own path on the indies, outside of WWE, along with some other financial revenues he's going with. All they see is Zack Ryder, WWF Superstar, WWE Superstar, basically, desecrating, that's the word I'm looking for, desecrating their championship by winning it in a match that they believe a guy like Zack Ryder would have no chance in. And that the only reason he became champion was because of somebody that has a rivalry with Nick Gage in GCW storylines. And even if they understood that, they didn't like the decision. They pretty much rather have had Ricky Shane, I think this was in Ricky Shane Page, come out, attack Gage after the match, after he retained, and then set up for what is known as the Art of War GCW style war games that we're getting in September, and potentially a match in between them. But that's not how they see it. They see it basically as Zack Ryder, getting help from a turncoat in Ricky Shane Page, and becoming, GCW World Champion, and basically by doing so desecrating the lineage and the history of the GCW Championship, as well as making a mockery of deathmatch wrestling and the MDK crowd. And they did not like that, and that's why Matt Cardona, aka FKA Zack Ryder, basically got pelted the way he did with bottles and stuff like that, and why fans were running after him, literally running after him. You watch some of the videos, they were literally chasing him out of the showboat when this happened, because they were not thrilled. I mean, I don't know if some of those fans were going to try to chase him so far to the point that if they got their hands on him, they tackle him, take the belt, and say, this is GCW property. I don't know. But when you get that kind of reaction, yeah, you are doing your job well as a heel or as an outsider, if you will, to a company like GCW. You're doing your job right to get that heat. But again, you're looking at a niche group of fans that are expanding, as I said, that they could probably understand all that and accept that, but they still look at somebody like a Matt Cardona as Zack Ryder. They don't see a guy, like I said, that's trying to go his own way, do his own thing. They see somebody that is basically desecrating the championship, and and basically doesn't belong in the world. That's what they see. And that's really about it, in my opinion, as a fan. It's not the fact that putting the belt on him wasn't the right decision. I think it was, because it makes you as a fan want to see Matt Cardona, when he comes back, get his ass handed to him by someone like a Nick Gage, or by whoever else they choose to do it. You want to look forward to that opportunity. You want to look forward to that moment, and they know it's going to draw people in. However, despite that, it doesn't change the fact that fans were not happy with the result. And if it was to get nuclear heat on Ricky Shane Page, building up to that Art of War Games match in September, then hey, job well done. But still, it's just one of those situations to where, if you're going to do something like this, you're going to do a title change like this. My honest opinion, if GCW is going to be teaming up with the likes of AEW or Impact, my honest opinion is I would have done it on one of those shows. I would have done it on a Dynamite or a special edition of Dynamite. I would have done it on an Impact or monthly special that Impact Plus shows. I would have done it there, because I guarantee you would have had a reaction, but it wouldn't have been a reaction that almost nearly incites a nuclear riot. It wouldn't have done that. You would have gotten the crowd booing, but not to that extent. So, to me, that's just the way I see it. That's just the way I see it. That's why, Matt got the reaction he did, and why Ricky Shane Page got the reaction they did. Booking wise, smart move. In front of that kind of crowd, in that ring, in that environment, no, it wasn't. Anywhere else, partnering with anybody else, not a problem. Doing it there, in front of that crowd, at their event called Homecoming, yeah, that Yeah, it might, make people want to come back and see, like I said, Matt, and get his ass kicked, and Nick regain the championship, and it might make people want to see, Page, get his butt kicked in the War Games match. But still, it's like anywhere else, in my opinion, would have been better. You want to do it, like I said, on Impact soil, AEW soil, MLW soil, whatever, no problem. But or even BJW, Big Japan Wrestling soil, no problem. But doing it in front of the home crowd, an event called Homecoming, it's like, yeah, probably not the best place to do it. But, business-wise, I can understand why. Like I said, I can understand why they did it. Financially, it's going to get people to come back, down the line to see Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, get his comeuppance, and Nick Gage, whoever they place as the challenger. It could be Manta Warner for all we know, to be the one. It'll draw people in to want to see who's going to get that belt away from the WWE guy. Because that's, like I said, that's how they still view Matt. They still view him as Zack Ryder, and not Matt Cardona. So, anyway, though, that's just my thoughts on the reaction, Matt Cardona got after winning the GCW Championship. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like, down below, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. And I will talk to y'all later.